140 training program. Yesterday we were discussing about trying to understand about Microsoft AVD certification. Then we are trying to make a AVD environment for creating a AVD solutions here. So yesterday we had a discussion about AVD certification. Then we had a discussion about the core components here. And currently we have been start working on in preparing the resource group here. So we are trying to see like how do we enable components for your AVD here. What are the components currently it's been involved here. So we had a discussion about Azure core components here. So yesterday we had a discussion about Azure core components. Then we had a discussion about Azure identity management. And currently we have been discussing about Azure resource group. So currently if you take your current scenario here, we have created 5 resource group here because that's going to be used hand to hand for implementing a couple of resources here. If you take onto the Microsoft portal here, let me take you onto the Microsoft portal. Give a second. So let me take you onto the portal here. So yesterday we started working on into the portal here. Now let me see what are the option has been available here. I'm just trying to connect it on the portal here. So if you see here, yesterday we have created a couple of resource group here. Just take you onto the portal here. Let's wait for a moment. Just trying to go to the portal here. So if you take this current lab here, part of this AVD implementation, you may be remembering we have created 4 resource group here. One it created for your Active Directory. Second one we have been created for keeping your dedicated VNet solution. And the third one we have been using for your security or the monitoring components here. And the fourth one we have been created for the shared resources here. And the last one it's been completely using for the AVD solution here. So right now we are trying to discuss more about networking aspects here, because we are continuing to prepare this complete environment for your AVD solution. It's a kind of a shared service here. So right now we are trying to start discussing about how do we create Azure Virtual Network here, because virtual network it's going to be the one of the core components. It's for assigning an IP address here, and it's going to be used for enabling all the kind of the communication on the AVD here. How many of them have been confident on in a VNet creation here? How many of them have configured here? You can able to see like what are the kind of the configuration to be configured on in a public or a private IP address here. How many of them have been confident here? Do you think I need to cover this VNet creation here, or you're confident on that? Can you comment on the chat here? Because I have seen like a couple of people are new to this cloud here. That's the reason I'm asking like how many of them have been clear about how do we create a VNet here. So rather than I'm jumping directly onto the VNet creation here, do I need to cover some of the basic part here? Team, can you just comment it on the chat? How many of them have configured or VNet in the past? How many of them are confident on that here? I'm not seeing any comment on the chat here. We have enabled the chat for everyone here. So request you to comment it on the chat here. Do you want me to cover a couple of the VNet creation part here, or are you confident on that? Can you comment it on the chat, please? Okay, so I'll do one thing. I'll cover a couple of points on the VNet creation part since I'm not seeing any comment here. So if you take Azure infrastructure, especially onto the networking side here, Microsoft Azure or AVD has been supporting IP version 4 as well as the IP version 6 here. You may be remembering like when you are trying to configure the AVD solution here, you can able to use it IP version 6, and you can able to use IP version 4 also here. But when you go back onto the real-time scenario here, like if you take any of the configurations here, or it's like if you take any of the networking aspects here. Normally, you may be notice here. In case if you are trying to create any of this configurations here, by default, in most of the organizations are currently using IP version 4 only here. Even though it's been supported IP version 6, your AVD solution or your Azure compute or infrastructure solution, it's going to work on in a IP version 4 mode only here. So any configuration which you're trying to do here, it's been working on into the IP version 4 only here. So now when you it has been coming on to this configuration aspects here. So when you start working on in a IP version solutions here, you may be notice here like IP address again classified into 5 categories here based on how it's been working. If you take the configuration part here, the IP numbers or it's like the classification is been done in such a way that it's been done like it's a class A, or you can see like it's a class B, or it's been like a class C here, or you can see like it's a class D, and you can able to see like it's a class E here. So I'm just saying like when you are coming on to the, you can able to see like you can able to do you can able to do you can able to see like you may be able to see like you have a class A or a B or a C or a D or a E. So these are the IP address normally we are using on in a cloud here. So you may be able to see like IP version 4 we are using here, and again it's been classified into 5 categories here, which is like A, B, C, D, and E here. Now the question has been coming, if you are using a class A or E or B or a C here, which class you are going to be used on into your infrastructure here. What is the option it's been using here? What is the kind of the configuration it's been coming, or it's like how this has been configured on into the cloud here. If you go on to this configuration part here, if you just consider on into the configuration part here, A, B, C, it's normally it's been using for assigning to the AVD solution. Class D, and you may be able to see like it's a D and E. That's basically it's been like you can able to see like you have a option has been available onto the cloud here, right? You may be able to see like you have an option has been available here. You may be able to see like you have a B, C, D, E, and it's been available here. And if you take this class A series here, so these numbers are normally it's been started from 0.0.0 to it's like 127.255.255.255 is the range we are using here. And if you go on to this other mode here, if you just try to connect it on to the other range here, give me a moment here, my adapter is got disconnected. Okay, I just reconnected here. So I was just saying here like IP version 4 here, you may be able to, like class B has been coming like a 128.0.0 to 191.255.255. It's not 192. It's been coming 191.255.2555. And another one, it's about a class C. It's been like 192 dot 192 dot. It's been like 0.0.0. I'm just typing here. It's like 192.0 here into 223 dot. You can see like 223.255.255.255 here. You can see here. There's the range. It's been coming here. You can see like class D has been coming here. You can see like it's been like class D has been coming here. You can see like a class D. Class D it's been normally it's been coming like a 224.0.0.0 to 239.255.255 here. You can see this is the range you can able to use it here. And class E has been coming in the range of you can able to see like you can able to see like a class E has been coming like 240.0.0.0 to you can see like 255.255.255.255 here. So if you are working on an AVD solution, you need to aware about this class ranges here. And if you take the real-time scenario here, you will not be using the class D or a class E for any of this any of this configuration here, because this has been kind of a reserved IP address here. You may be remembering Class D, it's been using for the multicast purpose here. So if you take any of these solutions here, Class D IP address are using for a multi-class purpose here. So any idea which situation we will be using a Class D IP address here? So if you take a IP streaming, or it's like a live TV if you're doing, or in case if you are like using any of the remote deployment here, that kind of a situation normally we'll be using here. So you can able to like you will use like in case if you are configuring like any kind of IP stream or a live stream, or it's been like any kind of a multicast action if you want to use it here. For example, like IPTV, or it's like online conferencing if you are doing, or in case if you are doing any of the webinar, or it's like you may be remembering if you are configuring network equipments. In a network equipments, normally we used to configure a protocol called OSPF or a EAGRP. So normally the protocol like OSPF or EAGRP uses multicast for communicating between the routers here. So during that time, normally we'll use the class D IP address here. So the point what I'm trying to say here, in case if you are configuring a network components here, never ever assign any of this a class D IP address for your EBD network here, because this is reserved only for a different purpose here. So never ever use the class D IP address here. And even if you use the class E IP address here, class E it's normally it's been using for the research purpose here. So in kind of any kind of experiment we are doing, or in case of any kind of a research if we are doing, that kind of a situation, we'll be using the class E IP address here. So in a overall, what I'm trying to discuss here, you will be using a class A or a B or a C IP address only for the assigning to any of the AVD solution here. So in case if you're using, we can use the class A or a B or a C. This is the IP address you can able to use it here. Now, when you start working on into a configuration part here, you may be able to see like you have a option has been available here. You have a class A or a B or a C. It's been available here, and again this has been classified into two categories here. One you can able to see like it's a private IP address here, and another one it's been like a public IP address here. So any configuration we are using here, so if you are using a Azure AVD here, so you need to see like there are two classification is been coming here. One is been like a Azure IP address here, another one it's like it's a private IP address here. Normally when you are configuring any of the AVD solutions here, so when you are, so you can able to see like when you are configuring any of the AVD solutions here, you may be able to see like very rarely only the people will be using a public IP address to the any of the session or a host which you are going to configure onto the AVD here. So AVD session host, normally it's not needed any public IP address here, because they use the outbound HTTP connection only for the reverse connect only here. So you're not going to configure any of the public IP address for AVD solutions here. Only for the AVD management, or it's like in case if you want to make any of the outbound internet connection, you may use Azure Bastion service, or you may use a concept called network address translation here. This makes sense here. So you can able to see like there is an option has been available here. With the help of that, you can able to configure it here. So I'm just saying like this is the IP address you can able to configure it here. You may be able to see like you have a private IP address has been available, and you have a public IP address also it's been available here. And if you take the private IP address here, in case if you want to see like you can see like you have option has been available here. You may be able to see like you can see here like you can see like you can able to see like it's a private here, right? So you may be able to see like if you take a private IP address here, so you can see like the IP address classification here. if you take this IP range here, it's going to be 10.0.0.10.255.255.255 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255 192.168.192.168. You can see here this is the range you can able to see for the private IP address here. And on the public IP address frame here, you will be seeing a IP address 1.0.0 to 9.255.255.255, or you can see like 11.0.0 to 126.255.255.255. You can see here. You can see here like it's been like if you use it on into the cloud here, like it's like 11 dot here. You can see here like onto the cloud, it's like 11 dot here, and it's been like 128.0.0.0 to I'm just trying to type this IP address here. You can see it's like you have a 172.15.255.255 172.3.0.0 to 192.255.255.255, or you can write it's 192.0.0.0 to 192.168.7.255.255, 192.169.0.0, 223.255.255.255. So these are the range of the IP address normally we are using here. So the point what I'm trying to discuss here, when you are configuring a IP address here, normally we are using it, right? So you can see able to see like you have a option has been available. You may be able to see like you can see it, right? Just give me a second here. I'm just written this a public IP address here. So any AVD we are trying to create it here, it's going to be configured with a private IP address here. Public IP address normally we are not using onto the AVD solution here. Is that point has been clear? So team, what I'm just trying to discuss here. So the moment when you are trying to create any of this IP address here, IP address normally we are using the private IP address here. With the help of that, you are going to configure it here. So you can see here, this is the range you can able to use it here. So if you go onto this real-time scenario here, You can able to see like this is the range we are using here. Now, before going on to the AVD VNet creation here, first of all, I'll try to show you how normally the VNet is been configured here. Let me give you or let me create a VNet separately here. So we'll not use this existing resource group here because this we have kept dedicated only for the AVD here. Since we have a many people are new to the cloud here, I'll create the VNet on in another situations here or possibly like in another resource group here. You can able to see like how VNet normally we are using. You can able to see like you can able to use it like for configuring any of the resource here. Now, Mohammed, answering to your questions here, when you are configuring a Azure VNet here or it's like Azure networking here, normally you will have a private IP address and a public IP address. It's been created for your Azure VM here. But when it is coming onto the AVD solutions here, you can able to say like we normally don't use any of the public IP address here. AVD session host initiate all the kind of outbound HTTP connection to Microsoft AVD service, and there is no public IP address is been needed here. So you can able to see here, you can able to see like you can able to see you will be using only the private IP address here. Is that point is been clear? So I'm just giving this a chart on the a chart here. There's a Microsoft. I just copied from the Microsoft document page here. You can see here. Mohammed, I hope your doubt is got clear here, right? Okay, thank you. So that's basically it's be like we are not using it. So basically like we'll use it for the option here. So you may be able to see like you can able to see like you have an option has been available here. You may be able to see like the IP address has been coming here. Now, before getting on to the AVD part here, let me try to create one separate VM here. You may be able to see like you may be able to see like you have option has been you can able to see like you have option has been available here. You can see like just go and check this one here. I'm just trying to create it one normal VM here. Okay, then I'll go for the AVD here. Let me try to create I'm just trying to create another here. I'm just trying to create it here. I'll just try to create one Azure VM here, possible like a VM1 that I'll use it here. VM1 here. You can see like it's a VM1 here. We are trying to see like how we can able to configure this is for a communication here. You can able to see like you have a solution has been available here. You can see like we'll try to create a new VM here. It's a test VM. Okay, this is not for the AVD here. To understand about how normally the VNet has been working, we are trying to use this one here. I'll just go back to this. I can see there are two people who have been raised the hand here, Rakib and Ajay. So any question on this topic here? Now let's go and create one server here. Then later on we'll try to see like how AVD has been working. Let me try to create one separate VM here. I'm just trying to create it here. Create a virtual machine here. I'm just trying to create a tester group here. Trying to see like you have option has been available here. I'll just try to create like a prod test group, or it's like I'll try to create like a production. Okay, I'll just give a name called production here. I'll just try to give a name called server one. This is a test one here, okay? Not for the AVD here. I'll just try to create for the one here. Server one. I'll just try to create one in a Northwest Europe or a North Europe, where you are going to get all the additional services here. So I'll just try to give it here. So I'm just trying to see these options here. It's been like right now I'm not touching anything onto the networking side here. I'll just try to see like you have option has been available like a review and create here. You can see here. I'm just trying to create it here. It's been like right now I'm not configured anything on into the networking aspects here. Simply have been created a VM here. Let's wait. This is to complete. Let's try to create that. Right now this has been progressing here. Validation currently it's been completed and it's been progressing here. You can able to see like it's been created here. Now, if you go back onto the configurations here, you have a server has been created here. You maybe notice here by default any VM which you are taking. By default, there is a two log has been created. One side you have a public IP address has been coming, and another side you may be able to say like you have a private IP address has been coming here. So if you take any of the resources here, you have a private IP address has been coming onto the one side, and onto the other side you may be able to see like you have a IP address has been coming here. So any IP address which you are taking, this is the range normally we are using here. So any of the resources which you are using here, by default, this is the configuration has been coming onto the real-time scenario here, where you can see by default two IP addresses getting here. Now, let's try to understand the VNet a little bit here. Then we'll go for creating a VNet for your configuration on into the cloud here, or especially onto the AVD here. If you take your current configurations here, by default, in case if you have not created any of the VNet here, there is a virtual network has been created here. See, automatically there is a server. It's been there is a automatically there is a VNet has been created here. If you see here, by default, like there is a VNet has been created here with the help of automatically this IP address has been distributed here. Now, if you take this IP address here, you may be able to see like Microsoft has been taken, like you have an option has been available here. You can able to see like you have a resource has been available with the help of that. You can able to see like you can able to see like you have an option has been available here, where you can able to see like you have an option has been available. No, you can able to see like a 10.0.0.4 here. So normally we won't follow this practice here. The reason is been like if you are following this default method, you may be able to see like you have an option has been available, uh, possible like you can able to see like you have an option has been available here. You may be able to see like any of the configuration here. You may be able to see like you have a configuration has been coming on into the cloud here. You can see like a 10.0.0.4, or it's been like that's the default it's been taken here. If you take a scenario like tomorrow when you are trying to do any kind of a on-prem to cloud migration here, or if you are trying to do any kind of integration, and if on-premises also using a similar IP address here, that may lead to some kind of a conflict here. So that's the reason in a real-time scenario, rather than you are going on to a default configuration here, by understanding the IP schema or your current infrastructure CADR configuration here, you will create a dedicated or your own IP schema here. So that means when you are start working on in a cloud solution for your AVD virtual network or your non-AVD component, you will be the person it's going to be created a virtual networking here. So any resources which you are trying to create it on in your cloud, whether it's a AVD or whether it's been like a non-AVD solution, network are needed here. With the help of that, you can able to make a internal or a external communication here. All the internal communication which you are going to enable on top of your AVD is with the help of a private IP address here. That means through the VNet here. So the point here, all the private IP address are handled by you through a solution called Azure VNet here, and any external communication when you want to do on into a cloud, it's using Microsoft public IP address here. Public IP address, it's been normally handled by the Microsoft directly. You don't have any role on that here. Only you have an option for selecting what is the kind of SKUs to be used here, or you may be able to see like what is the kind of the configuration to be used on in a cloud. That is the only option you are going to be enabled on into cloud here. So that is the only option which can be used on into cloud here. That will ensure that if in case if you are enabling any kind of solutions here, how the IP address are distributed here. So external IP address are not used by the AVD here. This is normally using wherever you need to have a external communication is needed, public IP address is being needed. Now you may be having a question, how AVD can able to communicate to the outside here. AVD normally will use a concept called NATing on in your Azure firewall here. So in case if you want to enable any kind of a solution here, you will use a Azure firewall. Inside a Azure firewall, there is a source NAT or a destination NATs are available. With the help of that, you can able to do here. So you may be able to see like you have a resources are available here, and you may be able to see like with the help of that you can able to configure the configuration onto the cloud here. So that may be the one important point, you may have to use it onto the cloud here. So the moment when you are start working on into cloud here, you may be able to see like these are the options which normally we are using here. So with the help of that, you can see what are the kind of the solution it's been available onto the cloud here. So that may be the one point all of us need to remember on in a cloud infrastructure here. Is that point has been clear? Okay. Any questions, Sri? So let me delete this server here. Let's go and create this a separate VNet here. Let's go and see how this has been assigned the IP address. I'll just use this prod one. I'll just delete that one. I'll just try to delete this configuration. You can see it's been like it's been progressing here. Let's wait. You can see like you have a resource group has been created here. Like a prod. It's been like. Let's wait. You can see like you have option has been available here. You can see like resource group has been progressing, deleting it and progressing here. Let's wait this to complete. It's been deleted here. Now let me try to configure a VM here first. Well, we are taking a two case study here. One, we are trying to see like how do we create a VNet for a standalone VM, and then we'll try to see like how we create it for your VNet for your AVD solutions here. So these are two exercises currently we are doing. So we are trying to understand about a VNet first here, and then we'll move on into the EVD part here. So these are two discussion currently we are doing here. Let's wait for this is to complete it here. I'll just go back onto the portal here. I'm just trying to create it here. Just I'll just go back onto the virtual machine here now. So right, let me try to create it here. Let's go back onto the VM here. Let's try to see like how standalone VNets are created here. I'll just try to create it a prod here. You can see like it's a prod here. It's like a server one here. It's then can like just enabling a networking options here. If you go inside that networking here, so this is the place I was been discussing previously here. By default, in case if you're not created any of the VNet here, it's been selecting a automatic IP address here. Normally, it's been coming either on in a 10 dots range or it's been like it's coming on into 172 or a 192 here. So when you are defining a VNet, either for the AVD solution or it's been like or AVD solution or it's like or into a normal standalone services here, you need to ensure that you are giving a right schema here. Okay, so that may be the point. You may have to use it here. So I'll just try to create it here. I'll just try to create a solution here. I'll just try to give a name here. So the moment when you are giving any of the VNet here, you can able to use a standard consistent name here. For example, like if you are giving for your prod or it's like a production one, normally people used to give like a VNet, which network it's been using here, who is the client here. So like this, you'll use a standard consistent name here. And when it is coming on to the AVD also, in AVD also you maybe use like we need to use some kind of a consistent name here. Possible like you can use like this is for my prod, this is using for my AVD solution, this is for my host pool. First, like this, you can able to see like you have a resources naming conversion to be given here. So that is the kind of the naming conversion normally we are using for the configurations here. So at any point of time, if you are trying to use any of this AVD selection here, this may be the IP address you can able to use it here, or this may be the name you can able to use here. Right now, I'm going to use this is for my Azure VM here. So I'll give it's like this is for my broad. It's like this is for my VM here. So I'll give it like this is for my DB network here. And the range which you are going to use it here, it's going to be 10 dot series or a 172 series or a 192 series here. A number of the IP address that can be used inside this one, it's going to be decided by this switch value here. So by default, if you give a /16 here, it's going to be used like a 2 raised to 16 here. That means 65,000 IP address it will come here. If you give /15 here, 2 raised to 15, that means like 1,31,072 IP address it will give, you will get it here. And based on in a real-time scenario, no need to try to create a large address space here. Rather than using a one default VNet here, better to create a multiple VNet here. So rather than it's been creating like a single VNet for the complete AVD or a non-prod solutions here, better to use another one here. So that may be the one you can able to use it here. So the moment when you are trying to use it here, you can able to use that may be the one method you can use it here. So let's create this with a standard 16 here. I'll just try to start create here. I'll just try to create a subnet also here. I'll just given here review and create here. Let's try to create that. It's been started deploying here. Now we'll take a 5 minutes break here. Merely this will complete the creations here. Let's wait 5 minutes for the refreshment break. Parallelly, I'll complete this installation here. Thank you. Hey team, I hope you're back. So we were discussing about how do we enable VNet for your AVD. Before that, we are trying to discuss in a standalone environment how normally the VNet is been configured here. If you take the current scenario here, there is a virtual network which has been created on in a cloud here, and this virtual network it's been created for the DB network here, and this has been created on in a West Europe location here. And if you take the VM here, and even VM also, if you see, this has been running on in a West Europe here. Now I'll try to show you one more interesting fact here. Let me try to create your solutions on in another location. For example, like I'm trying to use the same resource group here. I'll try to give the name. It's like a server 3 here or server 2. I'm trying to create it on in another side here. I'll just try to give the different details here, like different region details here. Let me try to enter. If you just select it here instead of a West Europe, let me select it like East US location here. Now, if I go back onto the networking tab here, you may be not seeing our existing VNet here. So if you see here, the moment when you start working here, you are trying to create your server VNet on in a East US location. You may be not able to see your existing VNet we have been created here. So the point you need to remember when you are trying to create any of the VM, your VM and your VNet has to be onto the same location here. Now, let's go and see. This is for the host pool case here. For example, like we already have a VNet has been available here. If you try to create a host pool here for your AVD solution, I'm just trying to create this details here, like just given this session host or all the details here. I just given like my existing environment here, location. I'm just selecting as a West Europe host pool name. It's like a pool one. Then I given all these details here. It's be like a pooled one here in the session host. You can able to add your VM here. So the moment when you are trying to configure here, you have a virtual machines are coming here. So these virtual machines are going to use your existing network here. See, if you are trying to use your West US here, you can see like if you select the location, it's like West US, West US, you can able to select all these details here. And on the networking side, currently, like if you can see, like you have an option for enabling your virtual network. Right now, this has been not showing it because I believe this has been created on in Europe. I think Europe only, I think North Europe or West Europe. That may be the location we have been created. That may be the reason it's not showing. Let me go back onto the network here. Which location this has been created? This has been created North Europe. Yeah. Sorry, West Europe here. So when you are trying to create here, I'll just trying to create a host here. I'll just go back onto this VM. Sorry, host pool. I'll just try to create on the host pool here. You can see like I'm just trying to create it here. You can see here when you go back here. I'm just trying to create. This is like West Europe, right? West Europe you have been selected here. I'll just give it like a pool one here. I'll just go and create this pooled one. Then resource group here. I'll try to use the same resource group here. Now while creating here, you may be able to see like existing network here. See here. Now this network is here showing here. So the point what I'm trying to create here, the moment when you are trying to create it here, your host pool and your Azure VM and your Azure VNet, all this needs to be on the same location here. Is that point is clear? Tim, are we good? I'm just trying to say like you have an option for adding a VM here. So the point, what I'm trying to discuss here, the moment when you are created on into a cloud here, you may be able to see like by default, you have an option here, right? You may be able to see like you have an option has been available. You can see like 1 second here. You can see this is the option you can able to see here. Now, let me go back onto this configuration here. You may be able to see here, you have a virtual machine is got created here, and this virtual machine is been connected onto this portal here where you can able to see like you can able to see like a 10.0.4 here. That means your server is been available or it's been configured, and there is a prod VNet is been configured here. There is a prod VNet has been configured. It's been configured with a 10.0.0./16 here, and you may be able to see like there is a server currently it's been assigned here, and server name you can see like it's a VM1, and it's been attached to this prod VNet. You can able to see like you have an option has been available here, right? You may be able to see like you have option has been available onto the cloud here, and you can able to see like it's been connected onto the prod VNet. You may be able to see like option has been available onto the same location here. You can see here like you have option has been available here. I'll just try to connect it here. I'll just receive this IP address here, like a 4 here, right? You can see here. Just trying to create a second VM here. Let's try to see like what will happen if you try to create a second VM here. I'm just trying to create the second VM here. I'll just try to give the name called server 2 here. I'm trying to create on the same location here. Let me enter this details here. Connecting onto the networking here. I'll just give an subnet A and create this. I just created this one here. It's been a validation completed. Created that. Validation completed, and it's been progressing here. You can see here, it's been progressing here. You can see this been created here. You may be able to see like it's in progress here. Your deployment, it's got completed here. You may be able to see like it's been completed onto the portal here. You can able to see like you have option has been available here. One second here. Just trying to check this details here. It's been created here. Now, if you go back onto this details here, like as a server 2 here, the server 2 also has been started receiving the IP address from the same prod VNet here. You can see like the moment when it's been created here. Your second VM also, like it's like you can see like VM2. VM2, it's been connected to this same prod VNet here. And what is the IP address you are getting here? It's going to get a 10.0.0.5 here. So the point you need to remember, whatever VM which you are trying to create it on in your environment, you are going to add this VM are part of your host pool here. So in your AVD, you will have a AVD host pool is been available here. You can able to use your existing VM to be part of that here, and even this is going to be part of the same VNet where your AVD has been associating here. Getting the point? And the point here, it's like the IP address or a private IP address are going to be created part of your VNet here. VNet will be responsible for issuing the IP address here. I'll pause it here in case if you have any questions here. Are we good with this? If you're good, you can just comment it on the chat here. So that may be the one important point we can use it here. So right now it's been created here. You have a EVD host is been created here. One important point all of us need to remember here: when you are designing your AVD network, or it's like when you are designing your any of your prod network here, a couple of points everyone need to remember here. One point, it's been when you are created onto the cloud here, you can see the configuration which you can able to use it here. It's been starting from a 4 onwards here. That means even though your range has been starting from a 0.0, 0, 1, 2, 3, these are not normally it's been using for any of these resources here, because this typically it's been knowing as a word. It's not as a reserved IP address here. What is the word it's been using? It's called a reserved IP address here. If you take this IP address range here, it's like x.x.0 or x.x.x.1 or x.x.x.2 or x.x.x.3 or x.x.x.255. These are the IP address normally we considered as a reserved IP address here. Make sense? We're just trying to see you have an option has been available here. You may be able to see you have an option has been available onto the solutions here, right? You may be able to see you have an option has been available. You can able to see you have a option has been available. You can able to see you have a solution has been available, where you can able to see directly it's been assigned, and these are the IP addresses been reserved for so a couple of the resources here. This has been used for your network address here, and this has been used for your broadcast, and 1, 2, 3. One is been used for your gateway address here. So if you're using here, so it's been using for your gateway address. 2 and 3, it's been used for your DNS here. So if you are designing any of your resources onto the cloud here, any IP address other than this, you can able to use it for your VM here. Because if you are configuring here, tomorrow we don't have any kind of a confusion on into this IP address part here. So which ensure that in case if you are using any of these resources here, better to go ahead with the creation of your additional one here. So that may be the one option you can able to use it here. So make sense here? So I'm just trying to use it here. So in case if you are using here, this may be the this may be the one you can able to use it here. So that may be the one important point everyone need to remember. Now, other than this IP address here, you can able to avoid configuring this 127.x.x.x series here. This basically it's been known as a loopback IP address here, and you can able to see you have an option has been available on into 169.254.x.x here. This basically it's been known as a APIPA address here. So any IP address additional to this reserved IP address here, we won't be using this loopback IP address also here. So any IP address which you're using, this also it's been kind of a reserved IP address here. One it's been using for testing your TCP IP, and another one it's been using for a automatic IP address cases here. In case if your DGSTP is not available here, or your VNet pool is been full here, and it's not getting any kind of a IP address from any of the resources here, you may be notice here this has been creating its own operating system IP address here, that maybe normally it's been using for any of this resource configuration here. So in case if you are going on into any of this configuration here, you may have to use this reserved IP address, or it's you can able to use additional other than this IP address range on in a private IP address part here. So that may be the one important point all of us need to remember on in a cloud scenario here. Now, another important point you may be notice here. At the moment when you are creating a VNet here, you may be notice here it's been capable for giving a IP address range it's been like 10.0.0.16, and you may be able to see like you can able to see like you have a option has been available here, right? You can able to see like you can able to see like you have a option has been available onto the cloud here, right? You may be able to see like you have a option has been available onto the cloud. 10.0.0.16 has been available. That means 2 raised to 16 here. That means it's been capable for giving 65,000 IP address here. Now, if you review this current scenario here, you have configured a VM1 or a VM2 VM. Both the VM1 or a VM2 are connected to the prod VNet. From here, the IP address is being distributed here. So technically, like the next VM, if you're connecting, it's going to get a 0.6. And if you take the another VM, that's going to get a 0.7. Then it's been going like a 0.8 and other kind of IP address. It's going to be created here. Now, if you take a real-time scenario, if one of this VM is got compromised here, there is a possibility that the entire network will be net trouble here. So that's the reason, like if you take a real-time scenario, people will use a concept called subnetting here. So that means again your VNet, it's going to be divided a logical chunk of unit that's called subnet here. So rather than it's been keeping this as 65,000 for a single logical pool here, even for your AVD, if you have a host pool 1 or a host pool 2, you can able to create a dedicated subnet for a different host pool or a different environment here. For example, like you create a host pool, you want to create one host pool dedicated for your AVD prod environment, and you want to create another for a non-prod. So within a VNet itself, you can able to create a different subnet here. Let me show you that here. If you take this a current scenario, we have been created server 1 and a server 2. Both are created to the subnet A here. So let me go back onto this network here. Let me delete this two components here. Give me a moment. I'll just try to delete this one here. We're just trying to understand about how do we use this as subnet for your AVD solution here. I'll just try to delete and recreate that. You can just see I'm just decommissioning this solutions here. Let's wait. You can see it's been progressing here. Let's wait here. You can see it's been decommissioning here. It's been deleted here. Now, let's try to do one thing. I'll just show you how a VNet it's been created for a different host pool here. Then we'll try to see like how the communication also is been coming here. Then we'll go back and create a complete AVD production environment here. Now, I'll just try to create a network here. I'll just try to show you how communication normally has been coming here. I'll just try to create like a network. It's like a AVD VNet here. Inside this one, I'm just trying to create a two subnet here. One I'll try to create, it's a subnet A. This is for using for my AVD for a prod. I'll just use it for my prod network here. And then I'll try to create another one that's been like subnet B here. I'll just try to create it for my non-prod scenario here. I'll just try to create it for my non-prod. I'll just try to create it for my non-prod here. I'll just try to create it here. This is for my another one subnet or a subnet B here, where you can able to create a two subnet or isolated network here. So let's try to enable this two subnets here. Okay. I'll just go back onto this creation here. I'll take rather than taking host pool here. Let me show you this is with the help of a VM. And then on top of your AVD, we can retry that one here. Let me go back onto the virtual machines here. Let's connect it. I just trying to create a VM here. I'll just try to create a VM1 for my AVD. I'll just create. This is my AVD pool RG. I'll just try to create that. I'll just try to create. Trying to create like a VM1. It's been tried to correct it VM1. It's been VM1 and AVD, the first server here. Okay, try to create it here. Give this details here. I'm just given the details here. On the network side here, I am going to create one dedicated network for my AVD. I'll just give it like it's my AVD VNet here. Now here you can able to see like we are trying to make a isolation, or it's like again a chunk of unit here. So that means even though you have a 65,000 IP addresses been available onto the cloud here, it's going to be created with the help of that here. So when you are trying to create it here, so you may be able to see like IP address has been created. Yeah. If you see like, so I can see there is a configuration you can see here. There is a question I can see from the talent. Is it AVD host pool is been responsible for issuing an IP address here? No, never ever a host pool will be creating, or it's been like a distributing any of the IP address here. Host pool is going to be just a grouping of your host or a VM which you have been creating here. IP address normally is been distributed by the VNet here. Clear? So in case if you are trying to create it here, it's going to be use that one here. So let me, you can able to queue here. So this is the way normally the IP address has been assigned on in your AVD solution here. So AVD solution or AVD host pool never ever will distribute any IP address here. Is that point has been clear, Talent? So it's been handled by the VNet here. So that's the reason we are discussing about a VNet or a subnet here, because AVD is going to work hand to hand with your VNet here. So VNet will be responsible for issuing the IP address here. Make sense? If you're good or clear about that, you can just comment it on the chat. So that's about the configuration part here. Okay, so let's go back onto the other side here. When you are trying to create it on in a cloud here, you have a resources are available onto the solution here, right? You may be able to see like when you go back onto the solution on in the cloud here, you may be able to see like give me a second here. I just given like it's like a subnet A, like a AVD one. I'll just give you like this is for AVD prod. Okay, I'll just give this one here, and another one I'll just try to give it like a subnet B here. I'll just use it for my AVD. That is for my non-prod here. So in case if you have a dedicated isolated environment like a prod or a non-prod has been available, you can able to make a chunk of unit here. See, if you see this one here, now from your VNet, I'm using a 256 IP address here. Now non-prod, if you want to make any kind of isolation here, you can create it on in another subnet here. See, I'm just going to create on in another one here. You can see it's been created here. Now I'm just configuring here. I'm saying like I would want to create a AD VNet, and the VM which I'm going to be created here, this is going to be configured inside a subnet here. So tomorrow, with the help of a NSG or with the help of a firewall rule or other configuration here, you may be able to see like you have a option has been available here. So you may be able to see like you have a option has been available. With the help of that, you can able to create. Right now, it's been connected onto a subnet here. You can see here it's been like it's been creating here. You can see this. It's been got created here. You can see this with now resource has been got created here. You can see here. You can see this created here. Now you can see here my AVD1, that means the VM1, which is going to be part of my prod subnet. It's going to get a 10.0.0.4 here. See, if you are trying to create a host report and you have a VM1, it's been available here. It's going to get a IP address 10.0.0.4 here. If I'm trying to create another VM, for example, it's like a VM2 here. If I'm trying to create it here, in case if I'm trying to create this one here, I'll just go back here. I'll just try to create one more. I'll just try to create it here. You have a option has been available here. It's been creating this one here. Trying to create my second VM. I'll just try to create one in the same pool here. I'll just going to use the same pool here. It's like a VM2. I'll just try to use it on the same network here. Instead of subnet B, I'm trying to use it on in a subnet EA here. I'll just selected the same one. I'll just review and create here. It will take a few seconds here. Review and create here. It's in progressing here. It's been creating here. So let's take a. It's going to take a couple of minutes here. You can see this been got completed here. Now, if you go back onto this VM2 here, VM2 it's been associated to the same subnet here, where my VM1 it's been created here. And if you see this IP address range here, it's going to get the another IP address here that's a 10.0.0.5 here. So if you see here, it's going to get a 0.5 here. Now people normally have a question or a confusion. What will happen if I try to create a IP VM on in a subnet B here? For example, like if you select it's a VM3 here, what will be the IP address? It's you are going to get it here. What do you think, Dave? Can you comment it on the chat? If you are trying to create a VM3, what will be the IP address which you are going to get it here? What do you think of Dave? Can you comment it on the chat? So what will be the number you are going to get it here? So I can see there is a someone has been commented it's like a 1.1, and I can see like a 1.4 also here. Let's go and see that one here. I'll just go back to this another host here. Let's go back onto this server here. Let's try to connect it here. VM3. VM3 here. Like there's a scenario here. Connected on the networking here. I just selected a subnet B here. Review and create here. If you can just handle this one here. It's been validation completed. It's been triggered with the installation here. You can see the deployment of the second or third VM on in another subnet. It's in the progress here. You can see the deployment. It's in progress here. It's been almost. It's been finally here. It's been the third VM has been created here. Yes, exactly, talent here. Your point has been exactly. It's been valid here. If you see here, it's been assigned with a 10.0.0.1.4 here. So if you go back here, you can see like this been getting this one here. Now I can see there is a initially talent you mentioned about it's a dot 1.1. No, it's going to be always it's like a 1.4 onwards. It's going to be assigned this IP address here. I believe that concept has been clear for everyone here. How IP address has been created for your VNet and how the IP address it's been distributed with the help of a subnet here. I believe that portion it's been good and clear to everyone here. That's good. Then let's go and create this AVD side here. Because we will take almost 2 hours now. Let's take a break and be back here. Then we'll discuss about enabling for the AVD part here. I'm just creating this clock here. Let's wait 10 minutes of a break. Then you can be back. It's a tea break. Thank you. Now I hope you maybe notice here like how subnet has been created here. You maybe understood like how VNet has been created here, right? Now there is one more point we need to be careful on in the VNet creation. In case if my another VNet, which I'm trying to use it for my another AVD solution here. For example, like in your organization, you have a two VNets are available here. For example, like I'm trying to create another one. It's been like for my AVD, or it's been like I'll use it for my prod VNet here. Here I have been using for my subnet C here. Subnet C, this has been using for my finance or it's like finance subnet here. Now, when it is coming on to a cloud scenario here, if you are created a network with the help of a VNet and AVD has been using that one here, in that kind of a scenario, how practically you can able to enable the communication here? Hello, am I audible? Is it better now? In between, look like a network flap happened. Now, I was just saying here, whenever you are trying to create a AVD solution, there is a possibility that you may have a VNet may be configured on in a same data center, or there is a possibility that you may have a multiple subnets are available. There is a possibility that you may have a resources has been configured on in a different data center also. So in that kind of a scenario, like a mix of kind of a scenario, how practically you can able to enable a communication here. There is a concept is been coming onto the cloud. It's been knowing as a VNet peering. There is a concept is been coming. It's known as a VNet peering here. So the moment when you are start using a AVD concept, you need to understand about how a peering is been used here. If you take your on-premises scenario, you maybe handle this with the help of a concept. It's known as a there is a concept it's been known as a routing, or it's been like you may configure it on in your on-premises kind of a situation here, right? Now, when it is coming onto the cloud scenario here, how this peering is being enabled here? What are the options it's been supported here? So I'm just giving a situation here. Right now on in a AVD network, you have a two subnets are configured here. And the cost question is becoming, what will happen if all my VMs have been configured? Now, whatever host I'm going to use for my host port, everything it's been configured on in a same subnet. What will happen for my communication? That may be the first question. Second one, you may be able to see like when it is coming onto a cloud, if you have a another resource it's been configured on in another subnet here, how a subnet to subnet communication is been coming here? So what will be the communication point in case if you have a multiple resources are available here, how the communication has been possible on in a subnet to subnet kind of a scenario is here. So that may be the second point here. Another point which you are going to discuss today here, if you take a solutions here where you have a one VNet or a AVD solution is been configured on in a one location, and another one you have been created on in another location, like data, different data center. In that kind of a scenario, how the communication is been possible here. That means a data center to data center communication, how practically this can be enabled on in a cloud situations here. So these are the couple of the point we are trying to enable it here. So normally, if you take any VNet, whether it's been on in a AVD scenario or whether you take a non-AVD scenario, default there is no communication. By default, whether it's been configured on in the same region or in a different region, by default from one location to another location, there is no communication has been available here. We are trying to see how it's been configured here. Possible, I'll do one thing. I'll try to create one more VNet on in the same region, and the third VNet, I'll try to create it on in another location also. I'll try to create like a sales AVD. I have a AVD network which has been created only for the sales department. I'll try to create on in a North Europe or any other location also here. So we'll try to see what is the possibility we have here, and we'll try to see how it's practically we can able to enable it here. So let's wait for a moment here. I'll just try to create that one here. Just we'll just go and create that one here. I'll just try to create, it's a VM3 here. I'll just try to create it's a VM4 here. I'll just try to create it here. I'll just go back to this AVD pool here. I'll just try to create as a VM4. I'll just try to create it on the same location first. I'll just try to see a mix of scenario here. I'll just select it here. trying to create. So here you can see you already have a AVD VNet is been available here. I'm saying to Microsoft, no, I want to have another prod VNet, which I'm going to create it here with the help of another subnet D here. So I'm just trying to see the possibility that what will happen in case if I have a multi VNets concept are available on in a same locations here. Is there any kind of a communications are in place by default, or do we need to enable any routing kind of a solutions here? Let me enable that here. So that's the solution has been available here. Just try to create here, review and create. And just trying to create it here. It's been triggered. Deployment it's been currently it's been progress here. Right over this deployment currently it's been progress here. Currently the VM it's got created here. So if you see here, you have a VM has been placed here, and the fourth VM currently it's been created on in another location here. You can see the VM4 here. VM4 it's been currently running on in a West Europe here. The only difference if you can see here, the VM4 it's been currently it's been connected onto another network here. See, rather than using a existing network here, it's been assigned to another network, and it's been created with another IP address here. See, that means 10.0.1.4 here. See, it's like a 0.1.4. It's been created here. So I hope you maybe understood like how this communication has been coming here. Now the communication doubt has been coming. I have a two network, both are configured on in the same data center. It's been using or sharing the same Microsoft internal backbone network here. Do we have any kind of a default communication in place here? Or do I need to enable anything from our side? What is the default communication is been possible here? So that may be the question you may be getting on in a AVD implementation side here. That may be the third question we can consider. First question within a subnet. Second one is like a between a subnet here. And this is the third question. And the fourth one is been like a one VNet to the another VNet, which has been technically it's been far away or it's been like a configured on in another locations here. So what is the possibility we have here? I'll try to do one thing. I'll try to create another VNet on in another location also here. I'll just go back here. I'll just try to create a VM5 here. Let's go back here. Right now it's been like this is another one. I'll try to give the name called VM5 here. Now, this case, I'm not going to use the VM. It's like a West Europe here. I'll try to use it like a East US here. I'll just try to get it here. One important point you need to see, like you have a resources with available here. You can see like I just try to create it here. I just try to create it here. Try to create this East US location here. Trying to create it here. Trying to cut it here. So if you see here, ignore. So I'm just trying to create another network. This is one point you need to remember here. When you are trying to create another VNet, if it is in another location, there is a possibility that the same IP address it may take here. You can see here. You can see just trying to check a alternate IP address here. You can see your live. I just created here VM5, for example, like I'll try to create it as a sales VNet here. So one important point on the designing aspects here, it has to be another subnet here. Sorry, another IP address to be better to create rather than using the same range here. That may lead to some kind of a conflict when you are trying to do any kind of a VNet pairing here. I'm just trying to give this a 0.0 slash 24 here. I'm just giving it like a subnet E has been given here. It's in creating here. So you may be able to see here now. We have another network has been coming here. And if you take the overall network here, we have a technically three network has been configured, one has been disabled. Okay. So we can able to see like a three network has been available here. Two we have been configured on in a same location, and one it's been configured on in a another locations here. So just if you see this configurations here, you have a two network here. So the point what I'm trying to discuss here, tomorrow when you are trying to see like your resources been available onto your cloud here, you may be able to see like you have a multiple network if it has been configured for a AVD network. In case if it's been configured on in a same data center or different data center, one VNet to another VNet, by default there is no communication. I hope that point has been clear. So by default there is no routing or there is no communications are enabled from one VNet to another VNet or one region to another region, even though they have a backbone internal network it's been used here. Clear? So you may be able to see like you have a different resources are available here, and if it has been configured on a multiple network, this may be the information you can able to use it here. So you may have to enable a routing here in case if you're not able to make any kind of a communication. The reason is been like the default behavior of the Microsoft network here, you can able to see like you have an option has been available onto the solutions here. You can see like you have a solution has been available onto the in a real-time scenario. So you may be able to see like you have a resources been available here. So you can see like you have a solution has been available onto the cloud, and you may be able to see like you have a default network are available, and if it is being configured on in a multiple network, you may have to use this one here. You can see this is the network here. Now let's see, we understood like by default there is no communication here. Let me show you practically here. When you go back onto this network here, I'll just go back onto the network here. I'll just try to connect it here. I'll take one of this network here. Okay, I have it 4 5 VMs are here, right? So I'll take a VM1. I'll connect it first here. I'll try to connect it here. I'll just try to connect to this. So first VM here. I'm just trying to see how the communications are possible like between the host here. I'll just want to show you that. I'll just try to connect it here. I'll just connect it here. Let's wait here. I'm just connected here. Now it's been loading the inventory here. Normally it will take a few minutes here. I'm just trying to get it here. So just I'll disable this Windows firewall here. The reason it's been like from 2016 onwards, you may be notice here. By default, the Windows firewall has been blocking all your ICMP packet here. So I'll block this firewall for a testing here, because we discussed like internally it's not communicating here. So I want to show you that. So I'll disable this firewall here. So these are the VM which are going to be placed inside the host pool here. Okay. So I'll do one thing. I'll connect to my second VM now here. That means the VM which has been connected onto the same subnet here. First, let's go and review what will happen if your VM part of a same VNet here. Let's wait. This is for how understand how this has been communicating here. I'll just connect to the second VM here. I'll just connect onto this one. Trying to connect it to that IP address here. I just tried to connect to the second VM, which has been part of the same subnet here. Let's try to connect it here. Now let's go and see what will happen if you have a VMs are part of the same AVD pool and it's been part of the same subnet here. If you see here internally how the communication is been happening, I'm just trying to show you here. I'm just trying to connect it onto the command prompt here. You can see this is my second VM, which is going to be part of my AVD pool here. You can see like it's a 0.5 here. If I'm trying to communicate to 10.0.0.4 here, you can see here it's been able to communicate each other. So that means if you have configured any of the VM inside the same host pool and the same subnet, by default from your networking side, you don't need to make any kind of a routing or you don't need to enable anything from your side. By default, it's been enabled here. Now, if you move on into the other side here, for example, like the second scenario here, in case if you have a AVD network and you have been created a dedicated isolated subnet for your different environments here. For example, like one you have been created for your AVD prod and another one is been created for your non-prod. We want to know, is there any communication between these two internally here? If you go back onto this network here, possibly I'll try to connect to one of the VM which we have in place inside that second subnet here. I believe like your VM3 that is being created on in a subnet B here. Let me try to connect it to that. I'll just try to connect it that here. You can see here like we'll connect to the second VM here. You can see here like it's been progressing here. You can see it's been progressing here. It's been created now here. You can see here it's been progressing. Yes. Now let's go and see what will happen if you're connected onto the another subnet here. Let's try to connect it here. It's been loading. It's been system has been a little slow here. So just try to connect it. Command prompt. You can see here like IP config it's been given. Now if you try to ping 10.0.0.4, it's been created here. You can see like a 10.0.0.4, it's been created yet. Like this is the IP address, it's been created. Now you may be able to understand here. By default, from one subnet to another subnet, if both are part of your same VNet, by default the communications are possible here. So when you are trying to configure any security for the AVD solution, especially onto a network side here, you may have to put a NSG rule on in a subnet level here. In case if you're not doing here, by default, there will be a communication between this chunk of unit. That means by default, it's been like between this subnets, or it's been possible here. So in a real-time scenario, when you are designing this communication part, you need to apply a service. It's not as a NSG here. NSG normally we are enabling on in a subnet level or network interface card level. It's not enabled on in a perimeter, or it's not enabled on in a OS layer. The enablement which you are going to do on in a security filtering, it's on in a subnet level here. So this may be the one point you may have to remember and ensure that you are part of your governance or a compliance, you are enabling this NSG here. Now I'll take the third scenario here. In case if you take a scenario like if you have another VNet has been placed on in the same data center, how the communication has been possible here? Do we need to enable any configuration here, or what is the kind of the connectivity has been coming onto the idea? Let's go and enable this options here. You can see here. You can see like, let's go back and create that. I can see like a VM3 here. I just try to connect to the another VM4 here. VM4. You can see here like VM4 here. Trying to create it here. VM4 here. I'm just trying to create here. You can see here like it's been connected. Now let's go back and check that. I'm just trying to connect a ping 10.0.0.4 here. You can see it's not communicating here. So the point which I'm trying to put it in the table here, in case if you have configured multiple VNet for your network, one network to another network, even though if it has been configured on in the same location, because if you take this AVD network, AVD VNet and your prod VNet, both are part of your West Europe location here. And the AVD sales, it's been currently on in East US here. So you need to understand, from one VNet to another VNet, by default, there is no communication. And same thing, it's been applied for one location to another location also. So technically, what you need to do, you need to go and enable a routing, or there is a concept called VNet peering that has to be enabled on in a network layer. So there is a two type of peering it's been using. One, it's known as a global VNet peering, and another one, it's known as a regional VNet peering here. So the moment when you enable this option here, so this you can able to enable on in the network properties here. You can see here, like if you just go to this network here, you need to select any one network here. If you select this one network here, prod VNet here, if you can select this option called peering on in the blade here, you will get a option called enabling a peering here. For example, I want to pair non-prod to prod here. I've been selected here. I've been selected. I need to go and enable with my prod and non-prod, whatever network is here. I just given the another one. Then I can able to give like it's right now just a top of the prod here, right? So I'll give you like it's like a AVD to prod here. Then we can able to set what is the type of the communication you want here. Because if you take any communications here, by default, any communication has been coming, it's in a bidirectional here. So the moment when it's been available here, it's been adding and creating here. You can able to see the moment when you enable the peering, on the backend, Microsoft has been enabling a routing here. So technically, you don't need to enable any route add or a route print. The moment when you are enabling a peering, there's a concept has been like automatically it's been creating this peering on the backend here. And one important point you need to remember: the moment when you enable a peering, it's allowed a bidirectional connection here. So one network to another network, by default, there is a bidirectional connection is being enabled here. So that may be the one important point you need to remember on in a cloud here. So you may be able to see like there's a way it's the configuration has been coming on in a cloud scenario here. So that is a way the configuration has been coming onto the cloud here. With the help of that, you can able to configure it here. So I believe the concept has been clear here. I'm just posing here because we are already on top of the time here. So we'll be planning to have another session where you can able to configure the FSLogix, storage, and the monitoring aspects here. Over to you, Surag. Surag, give me a moment. So team, I hope you are clear with how we create this AVD VNet here. So we'll be planning to have a one more series on in the AVD alone here. There will be covering more about storage. We'll be discussing about how we create a host pool or how we create a user here. It was been just a almost a 4 to 6 hours of the session here. So we have been covered all the preliminary part of the AVD solution. So Surag will be working on in a having a one more sessions here. There will be covering more about the implementation part here. And thank you everyone for joining this session here. And over to you, Surag.
Thank you, Robin, for the session as well. I hope you guys had a great, knowledgeable session, and you were able to follow through and try it out yourself if you are able to. If you're able to create a new account, if you try it out as well. Um, and as as we are ending it for the now, we'll have a continuation of the session in the next part, and we'll let you know what will be the date for the continuation. So I hope you guys will also be participating there as well. And to know when it comes, it's important that you join our community. And to be participating, we do have other trainings and sessions that will be happening. You guys can join there as well. I will be sharing cert, the form for the certificate, and we will be providing it in a couple hours for the certificate or to send it out. Let me just share this form. And I'm going to also share the community links again and our YouTube channel where we'll have the recording if you want to refer again or you want to just go over it one more time. Okay. And yeah, that's basically most everything. And we do have Terraform and a agent session that are coming up. If that interests you, feel free to register for those sessions. I'll just share these over here. Okay. And again, all of these sessions do has certificate of participation, also have the recording and everything will be shared as well. And also, I would like to share that we did have trainings similar in the past, and the recording is in our YouTube channel. If you want to surf around, find something that is similar to your interest, feel free to check out our YouTube channel where you can find all those recordings. Um, yeah, that's pretty much everything, and I hope you guys is checking out the links that I shared in the chat box and joining our community. And it was great to have you guys joining, and we let's see again in the community and in the upcoming sessions. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of the day. Oh yeah, and also we'll have a follow-up email where you have all the content, all the resources that so far we discussed, and the links. We'll send it out to your email for the those who have registered. Okay, that's it, everybody. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. Be sure to fill out the form for the certificate before you leave the meeting.
Surya, if you can just check your one-to-one message, please. And team, I'm just sharing my LinkedIn ID also. So in case if anyone would like to connect with me, it's like or for the latest Azure updates, you can follow my LinkedIn page also. So there's a link. Thank you everyone, and happy weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend as well.